Welcome to the Perfect Podcast Show on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. I'm your host, Keith, and I'm still locked in this dungeon because I have not been able to make the perfect podcast show yet. I have been trying to make the perfect show. I don't really know what to do different. We got ads, we got calls, we got music, we got guests, we've got a host, but it's not perfect yet. And until I make the perfect show, I have to stay in this room. I am literally locked in this room, held captive until I can make a perfect podcast show. You know, it's a funny story. Some people are like, hey, do you think you can make the perfect podcast show? Because we were talking about podcasts, and I was like, yeah, there's so many podcasts, and like, you know, podcasts are weird, and like, they're sort of just like conversations, and it's in a way a podcast is like you're like eavesdropping on someone else having a conversation that you can't take a part in because you're just listening to it and you can't take part in it. And I had all these thoughts about podcasts, and then this person was like, if you think you can do a perfect podcast, I'd like to see you try. And I was like, I will. What do I get out of it? And they said, you'll get to be the person who created the perfect podcast. And I was like, great, I'm in. What's the deal? And they said, if you can't do it, you have to stay locked in a room until you do. So yeah, you make a perfect podcast and you have to stay locked in this room until you make a perfect podcast. And I was like, well, that will be easy. It'll be one episode and then I'll get out and like, hey, cool. I get a little vacation, a free place to stay in this little room. I'll be here for a day, maybe. They're like, oh, but hey, just so you know, we're only gonna feed you rice and it's gonna be white rice that's overcooked. And I said, that's fine. I can eat that for a day. And at the end of this, I'm gonna have the perfect podcast show. Awesome, in. And here I am, many months and many episodes later, because making the perfect podcast show is tough. And I'm still here trying to do it, trying to make the perfect episode. And so far, I have not been able to do it, and I'm locked in this room. But today, we're gonna try something, and hopefully it'll work. But you know, there is a phone number you can call. This phone number receives incoming calls. You can call and leave a message. Don't send us a text because there's an answer machine. They can't accept text, okay? It's an old answer machine. If you send a text, it's not gonna get through. So just call, leave a quick little message about, you know, tips you have, advice, thoughts. Hey, Keith, have you tried doing this to make the perfect podcast show? I think this will really help, and that would really help me. So go ahead and call and leave a message, and we're gonna listen to one of those calls now. Hi there. Thanks for calling the Perfect Podcast Show. Leave your message and we'll play it on the air. How was that? Does that work?
Hi, it's me, Joe Biden, Mr. President. Yes, that one. I love the Perfect Podcast Show almost as much as I love dancing on TikTok. Have you seen my TikTok videos? They are fun, right? They are supposed to be fun. Anyway, I'm Britney Spears and just calling. See you soon.
That was a call. Thanks. Not really helpful, though. Not a helpful call. Not a helpful call to, like, give me tips or anything, but appreciate the call, I guess. It's better than not having a call. I don't know why no one has called in and said, oh, wow, you're trapped in a room. You're being held captive. We'll save you. Try to help us with your location on an episode. But I have done that. You know, I have tried to give clues about where I am. I was blindfolded when I was dropped off to the studio, so I don't know where I am, but I remember hearing some things. For example, like those were some of the things that I heard, and I have a feeling because I just said those, they were edited out, and that way no one will get the clues. That's probably what happened. But anyways, you know, maybe today, I'm hopeful. Today will be the perfect episode. Today will be the perfect episode, and then I'll be set free. That'll be great. There we go. So before we get to that, we gotta play some ads. We have some ad space here for some ads to be played on the podcast to help pay for the podcast, and also the podcast studio and the podcast signs and the whole thing about the podcast. So let's play one of those ads. This episode is sponsored by sometimes life gets a little too stressful and you need to get away. And that's why Airbnb is here to help. Maybe you want to go to Napa Valley, California, and rent a beautiful vineyard cottage. Sit there and enjoy the beautiful hillsides of wine vineyards. You can find these cottages for as low as $55 a night, plus $200 cleaning fee. Or maybe you want to head to the mountains in beautiful Asheville, North Carolina, where you can rent a nice mountain cabin for as low as $65 a night, plus $300 cleaning fee and $55 convenience fee. Or maybe you want to head to the desert and go to the beautiful Sedona, Arizona, where you can rent a luxury estate for only $129 a night, plus a $4,000 cleaning fee, $700 convenience fee, and a $250 rental fee. All of these places you can go and more with Airbnb, with lower prices than you'll find anywhere else. Maybe you want to go to the coast in beautiful San Francisco, California, and rent a Victorian home for only $39 a night, plus $55,000 cleaning fee, $9,000 convenience fee, $120 rental fee, and an $832 fee to use pillows and blankets. All of these places are available on Airbnb. Low prices with nothing hidden, except way too many fees to use the rental. You might as well get a hotel. Airbnb, where what you see is not what you get. Okay, there's an ad. There's the podcast. Here we are at the Perfect Podcast Show. And we're going to get to our guest today. Our guest is a familiar face. This is so a weird thing to do on a podcast. A few episodes ago, I went to the DMV to get my podcast license because I'm operating a podcast without a podcast license, which is against the law in California, I found out. So I went to the DMV to get my podcast license, met a interesting character there by the name of Ben, who was working there. He was not behind a desk, he was in front. There was no name tag or anything, so no uniform. So I assume he was working there. He said he was working there. And he told me some tips on how to get the license. I had to go online instead of waiting in line there. But then at the end, he was like, do you want to get a coffee? So, people have podcasts to meet new people. And maybe a perfect podcast will be meeting a new person and getting to know them. And then maybe that would make a perfect podcast. So Ben gave me his number. We have been in contact and we're going to meet for coffee. And we'll see. Maybe he can give me some tips to like speed up the process for my license, or at the very least, maybe it will help me make the perfect podcast show. So we're gonna go meet Ben from the DMV for coffee and see how it goes. So let's go to the coffee house. Hey, it's me again. Hi, remember DMV?
Hi, Mr. SALTOJANES. May I please call you Keith?
Yeah, you can. Thanks for meeting at this coffee shop. Yeah. Oh, you have the paper from last time. That's great. Yeah. So yeah, it's well, I mean, thanks for meeting outside of work.
Hey, it kind of makes things easier, to be quite honest.
For my license, because like I went online, I got everything together so I can get that 95% set. So
yeah. Okay.
So that's
yeah, that's phenomenal. Are you more of a dark roast guy or a blonde roast? Or
I don't. I mean,
espresso.
I kind of like tea. But are you gonna order anything? Or did you want me to order it for you? You don't drink
coffee?
No. I mean, I say go get coffee, but like I don't like coffee. I've tried it before, but I'm a tea guy. But like I don't mind like people drinking coffee around me. Just like keep it away because I don't like the smell. But you like coffee? That's cool. Yeah. I tried it once. I was in Costa Rica and actually had like a really good, like the best cup of coffee I can possibly have. And it tasted like sour dirt, kind of like throw up. So like to me, the smell of coffee, the taste of coffee, it just is like drinking vomit. So if I smell it, it makes me want to vomit. I think it's disgusting. It's really gross. I mean, because tea is really good and I think coffee is disgusting. But if you want to drink it, that's fine.
I'll be okay. I will abstain. I do like coffee. I've been told to not say that I don't like a thing. If you don't like it, you don't put your foot in it.
Yeah.
So I'm not walking that line.
Okay.
I'm not going to make this an awkward situation, Keith.
Well, if you don't like tea, that's okay. Tea's better, but if you don't like it,
tea.
Yeah, I'm gonna tea. Did you also want to sit somewhere that's not right by the bathroom? There's like a bunch of other tables.
They don't really like going around where the customers are, but
they don't like you going around where the customers are. Have you been here before?
This is the best coffee on the planet, Keith.
Okay. But they don't like you around the customers. What happened? Did you do something?
It's just one of those things where sometimes it's nicer to not bring negativity into the room. And sometimes it's nicer to keep a positive outlook and not to talk about things that might be awkward.
Okay, I mean, you said it, so I just wanted to talk about it. We don't have to go deeper into that. But are you gonna order a dark roast?
You don't like coffee?
No, I don't. I mean, you could drink it.
It makes you want to vomit. You went to Costa Rica, you had the finest coffees in the world, and you wanted to vomit, Keith.
Yeah.
It made me very sad and uncomfortable, and I was trying not to go further with this. Do you understand that the reason I am not allowed behind the desk at the DMV any longer is because it's a government job, so it's a very good job, very hard to let somebody go from a government job. A lot of protections, which is good, but also a lot of protections for the other people in the building. So, people get negative at a employ like the Department of Motor Vehicles. People come in with a real bad attitude. That's why I gravitated towards you, Keith, because you keep it light, you keep it fun. You're a fun boy. You're a fun boy. I thought I'd join you for a coffee. And so I thought we would have fun and drink coffee and enjoy the aromatics and talk about how a light roast actually has more caffeine than dark roast, even though the dark roast is more earthy and textural. But I guess for you, that'd just be more vomity, goopity goop. But that's okay. The reason that I stay out with the people is I feed off the positivity. I'm a positive person. I feed off that positivity. So I need people in a good spot when they reach that bar, number 17, number 18 lineup in the DMV, and they see my people there, and they're in a phenomenal mood. And let me tell you, sometimes you feel a little bit better when something's a little bit off, and you get to leave that area, right? Sometimes people get weird about using public restrooms, but sometimes you put a person in front of the restroom that makes you feel like, wow, I'm safe in this restroom. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And then when they come out after making their filth, they see me and they say, oh, now I get to go back to the rest of the cafe and I'm not so worried about that poopy that came out of my body. I'm less embarrassed because at least I'm not around the boy from the DMV. I'm a people person, Keith, a pleaser.
Yeah, it's I mean, I just gotta ask, do you have friends? Because there's a lot going on here.
Is this your way of asking me to be your friend? Because I think that this started as something. I think that I'm open to it continuing, Keith.
I mean, it just sort of, I don't really know if we have a lot in common, because like you work at the DMV.
Licensing, podcasting, people person. People don't go on podcasts unless they like people.
That's right. I do like people, and you like people.
And you even said that you started the podcast so you could meet new people, and I'm a person and I'm new.
That's right. Yeah. And I'm meeting you here, but I mean, outside of the podcast, like you say you don't like negativity, but then people come into the DMV with negativity, but you want to be out with the people. It just doesn't seem like things are lining up in your stories. It feels like there's something you're not saying about you not being allowed behind the desk. Cause like you like positivity, but then you chose to work at the place where everyone's really negative. I'm just sort of confused.
It's a government job. SALTOJANES.
Yeah.
Good job.
It's a good job.
Like I'm part of the machine. Like basically brick by brick, you take this brick away and society will collapse.
Yeah, I mean, the DMV, I'm sure, has a turnover rate of new people being hired all the time as well.
We assume that.
Just because it's a job and people leave jobs.
You do not understand that they had me move into the lobby area so people were more comfortable at the DMV at their place of employ. So they had the opportunity to continue working because it's very hard to be fired from a committed job, Keith.
Have you tried to be fired from the DMV? Is that why you're saying that?
I just, there's something about once you're part of the machine, you see, if they let you go, because you're a little peculiar with your pickadoo, then they have to pay you. And then once they're done with your severance pay, then they go ahead and you can collect unemployment. And coming from a government job, you are getting many. Get up in the morning. And then I get to come here today and drink the beautiful dark roast of Costa Rica, Antigua, Mexico. You get Jamaican Blue Mountain.
Do you need help? Are you like trapped at the DMV because they won't let you go? And they're just moving you? Do you need help? We're not
I'm
there.
Here,
you can tell me.
I'm here.
But are you locked into having to work at the DMV? And
no, you want a choice. I have free will. We have free will. And I will continue to work at the DMV until they let me go and I get to go to the coffee shop every day and I get to be paid just to drink nice, warm drip coffee. None of this pour over mumbo jumbo, none of this cappuccino, espresso, just drip coffee.
Yeah, I bet the coffee at the DMV in the back isn't good, but there was a sign here that said for hiring. I mean, it's not a government job, but you could leave the DMV and work here and have coffee every day. Unless you're saying you're stuck there because if they fire you, they're gonna have to pay you, so they just move you to the front and just have you there like a Walmart greeter.
Are you giving me some advice, Keith?
I'm just saying.
I would like, as someone who works with a number of people that go out of their way to not have me around.
Yeah.
This is what I'd call a real friendship move, Keith.
Well, I mean, the podcast, like, I'm trying to make the perfect podcast. People come on to help me. I think you might
have just made the perfect friend.
Okay, well, I mean, let's just see, like, if you need help getting out, like, I'm just saying what I saw. There's there's a help needed sign. They're now hiring sign. There's a lot of signs on the front that say they need help. So maybe you can work here.
And this is a sign?
No, I mean, I don't know. We'll get to know each other more if we're going to be friends.
Would it open up your eyes?
To
the sign?
That's a song reference, isn't it? Maybe. I don't know. We're not saying the same song. I don't even know what song it is, but like, it just sounds like you're not happy at the DMV and they're moving you around.
I don't think I've ever been happier, Keith. I feel like you're trying to make the perfect podcast, but I think that it might be perfect because you're making connections. You're making friends.
Yeah, that's a good thing to make friends and to help people. I guess that it kind of is perfect in a way.
Thank you, friend.
Yeah, so do you think this is something, do you need help with this of quitting or are you allowed to quit?
I won't quit you.
No, I mean the DMV.
I don't really have a quitter's mentality.
Okay, or get fired because if they won't fire you because they're gonna have to pay you, but for you to get out because like I mean, I have to still like continue getting my paperwork together and my info together to get this license. But just right now, while we're here, for this meeting, this episode, maybe, I don't know. I don't know if there's something else I can do.
Would you try coffee with me?
I mean, I'm not gonna like it. I'm telling you, like, I won't like it. But I don't know what that will do. Cause like, you're just gonna be upset because I'm not gonna like it. We'll try it. But I mean, I don't like the smell of it. I don't like coffee flavored things, tiramisu, coffee ice cream. It's all vomit to me. And I've tried it. It's like, it's not like I haven't tried it before. It's like someone like, you don't like roller coasters. Oh, I've been on roller coasters. I don't like the feeling of it. So it's like, not like I haven't tried it. It's just not for me. I like tea. I'm a tea guy. There's a tea that I actually have that is for coffee drinkers who can't drink coffee. So it like recreates the taste of coffee. And I like that tea. But then once I had coffee, I was like, it tastes nothing like that tea. That tea is good. And this coffee is terrible. It's not terrible, it's just not my taste.
Mr. SALTOJANES, this is not friendly conversation. I take it back. You have failed at creating the perfect podcast show. You are a tea drinking monster, sir, and you will have to wait for this.
The license, wait.
Podcasting license.
Wait, what do you, no, I have to get that information. Okay, you know what? Like, I tried to be nice and help you. I tried to be nice and help you with stuff. Thanks for meeting for coffee. But okay, wow. You better go get coffee and wash that down. But I'm gonna have to leave.
No friends, Keith.
Well, I'm a little frustrated. That felt like a waste of time. You know, I went there with an open mind. I don't like coffee. I can't help it. I don't like coffee. I don't know why that's such a big deal to people. I don't like coffee. You know, like, do you like, I don't know, eating dirt? I don't know. Do you like hitting your head on a counter by accident? Do you like turbulence on an airplane? A bunch of things people usually don't like, and that's fine. And because I don't like coffee, somehow I'm the enemy. Somehow I'm wrong. I'm sorry, I don't like coffee. What's the big deal? What's the big deal? I don't like reality shows. What's the big deal? Okay, you know, just frustrated, okay? I don't like coffee. So what? You can have coffee. I'll meet at a coffee house. And that's what I did. I met at a coffee house. I'll get tea, but it just felt like a waste of time, you know? I wasn't trying to start a fight or anything. I don't want to drink something I don't like. Why is that a big deal? Like, oh, you just got to try it. Like, I've had it before. Anyways, so that was not the perfect episode there. Hopefully, you know, we tried to help Ben out. Like, maybe he'll have a better chance. He'll find a new job. Maybe he'll start working there and he'll be happy. That'll be nice. You know, if you like coffee so much, work at a coffee house if you're not happy with the other job. But anyways, there we go. This was today's episode of the Perfect Podcast Show. Thank you for tuning in. If you're tuning something, I don't know what you're tuning. Thanks for clicking in. That's what I should say. Thanks for clicking in and watching. This was not the perfect podcast episode, but it was the Perfect Podcast Show. And that's what we did. And next time I'll try to make a perfect episode. But until then, thank you for watching. And we will leave you with this song from a musical guest. Thanks for watching.
Let me tell you about the podcast show called The Perfect Podcast. Don't you know? Every Tuesday it's the place to be. Hosted by Keith, funky as can be. Now people call it Poo-Poo-Cast, but they got it all wrong. The funk is so strong. It's like a party song. They strive for perfection in every episode, but they always end up with the funky overload. The Perfect Podcast Show, it's got that groovy feel. Keith on the mic, making it real. Don't call it a Poo-Cast, 'cause it's the best around. From fiddle vibes, taking you higher off the ground.